Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chardon High School's Memorial Field, the site of tonight's independent contest between the Lakeside Dragons and your Chardon Hilltoppers. Good evening, everybody. Craig Dees along with John Walsh, and happy to be back again for another exciting week of Chardon Hilltopper football. And John, let's just take a step back a week. We saw them play Kenston last week, and the Hilltoppers, a tough loss for them last week, and see if they can rebound tonight.
Yeah, they ran into a lot of penalties, and of course a very talented Kenston squad. But like you said, it's not the season closer for them by any means, but it does make the impact of tonight's game all that more important for the magical computer points.
And the magical computer points will be affected. Chardon got a little bit beat up in the last game. Jordan McGee, their starting left guard, out with an ACL. He will be out for more than likely the remainder of the season. And on defense, a guy that was very active last week, Alex Petrov, dislocated his shoulder. He's not going to play in the game tonight, John. So that just makes things tougher because from an offensive line standpoint, Scott Linville, a guy that you hoped wouldn't have to go both ways, he's been plugged in at center. So now you've got your starting center and guard out, and you've got backups in those positions.
Yeah, and that makes it, like you said, players got to play tougher. You got to go a little bit more to the bench. And this Lakeside squad is dangerous. They have a couple of guns. They come at you with quarterback Hanna and running back Spikes, and they just are incredibly talented, and they can take it the whole distance on any given play. You got to keep on your toes and be aware of that. There's speed to burn, good throwing arm out of Hanna, and this is a much improved Lakeside squad this year.
They've already thrown and passed for 382 yards per ball game, so a very talented squad indeed. And we'll see the maturation process of Chad Davis as he continues in game number 3 now as the starting quarterback for Chardon. Tonight's game brought to you by cable subscribers like you. That's right. Tonight's contest is completely funded by cable subscriber franchise fees from Chardon Township, Chardon Village, and Hamden Township, and Munson Township. This week's game is part of GTV programming service made possible by your support. Our other funding communities not participating in this particular program are Burton Township, Burton Village, and Middlefield Village. Well, that's going to do it. We've set the scene for you. It is a glorious night for football here at Memorial Stadium, and we'll be back with tonight's starting lineups and the kickoff shortly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2006-2007 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. With drum majors Rachel Henry and Michaela Willis, here is the high school fight song. Playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the Chardon High School alma mater.
Well, welcome back to Memorial Stadium, everybody. We are moments away from tonight's opening kickoff between the Chardon Hilltoppers and the Dragons of Lakeside. And the Chardon Hilltoppers, you can see them all surrounded by all the youth football players, John, ready to come out of the tunnel. Quite a reception for them. Yeah, and really the first home game of the season for the Hilltoppers, and what a great crowd we've got on hand tonight.
Yeah, and here they are, and you got the coming through the kids, and that's kind of a thrill for the little ones especially. I see the hands being held up. I don't know if they really want to get slapped on the way past.
Especially with these big guys, huh?
Oh, yeah. Could take out a couple of those little 9-year-olds. Now they're getting some because I can see the body spasms when they go by.
Well, we'll see how the Hilltoppers react tonight, John. It was a tough loss last week against Kenston. They lost at 10-7 in overtime. Lakeside, they were winners last week over Cleveland East. And, you know, last season, the Lakeside Dragons played the Hilltoppers. They were defeated by Chardon out there by a score of 47-28. So defense was non-existent in that ball game. But Lakeside, under first-year coach Tom Bruni now, looking to get themselves rolling here. They're 1-1 on the season. And they will be entering from the far side of the field.
Yeah, that's one of those things. With a new coach, it's like a new philosophy and a whole new mentality for school. And you should see some signs of a different mentality. Everybody brings their personality on the team, but normally to get your system in place takes minimum of 2-3 years. So even though, let's assume that he's got Lakeside turned around and on the proper track they should be, it's still going to take 2-3 years for the full effects of his program to come into play. Look at the Dragon mascot. I think that's a new thing, too. I don't remember seeing that. Do you before?
No, I haven't seen Lakeside play but basketball. Now, this is a combination of a couple of different high schools. It was Ashtabula City School and as well as Ashtabula Harbor.
Correct.
They combined a couple years back to make Lakeside High School. And it's still Division II, so they're not a powerhouse where you think, oh, they brought a couple of big high schools together and they're D1. They're still D2, but they've got a brand new high school out there now. They've got a brand new facility very similar to this. So Ashtabula on the upturn, and we'll see what goes on here tonight. The Hilltoppers in their familiar black home uniforms. And it looks like they will come out and they will be kicking off.
Ball,
Sam Marcotte will come out and do the honors.
And Lakeside will be receiving to our left, running to the right. Yeah, this is the first home game for the Toppers this year. They haven't opened up their first two on the road. And quite honestly, this is a big game for both teams, computer point-wise. And they're very similar. Both had a cakewalk team, and then both had a tough loss to a good team. You know, Chardon losing to Kenston, Lakeside losing to Howland in a close game. So they're very similar. It's just that Lakeside's got that win last week under their belt as the kickoff comes.
And that's a good one. That's going to drive Spikes back, and that will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Sam Marcotte does his job. He pins the Lakeside Dragons at their own 20-yard line. Offensively, this is what we expect to see. Sam Ropus, Sean Parsons, Greg Jahola, he's a big one, 6'4", 320, only a junior. Jeff Candela and Aaron Ryle are the guys up front. The wideouts, Deontay Newell, David Kriz, Derek Holly in the backfield, Jamero Spikes, Anthony Carlisle. And the quarterback is a 6 foot, 172-pound senior, Brandon Hanna. Heard some good things about Hanna and from Spikes, and they'll actually put Spikes out of the backfield now.
You were surprised to see that. Yeah, I thought they'd go to the air in the opening play, and they did.
Get him the ball. Kersinger was the first to make the touch. Ball stays in bounds. It looks like they'll bring it up to about the 25-yard line. Defensively for the Hilltoppers, Jake Young, this is what we expect. Cody Carroll, Jordan McGee is out now. Scott Linville in. Lee Thomas, Isaiah Charlton, Andy Kersinger, John Ross, Danny Dagg, Kyle Peterson, Ty Merkel, among others that will be out there today for the Chardon Hilltoppers. Gain of 6 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 4 now.
Yeah, that was just a safe little swing pass out there in the right flat area, and it was equivalent to a run for Lakeside.
Well, that's only the 5th catch that Spikes has had this season, but he's been good for 127 yards. And there's a dive over the left side. Not much doing there.
That's exactly what the run should have offset. But you want to kind of get them thinking of spreading to the outside a little bit and spread that defense out. So once you get in the middle, the Chardon defense is very tough to run on inside. So what you have to do is either spread them out with wide receivers or spread them out with them thinking of the pass and kind of just cheating the outside or burn to the outside.
4 wide outs, Hanna to throw. Being chased. That's Thomas after him. He's going to let it fly. He's got a man through his hands and out of bounds. Intended for Deontay Newell. Brandon Hanna Hanna on the season now. 15 out of 39 for 339 yards. That's 46%. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns and also been picked off twice. And that'll bring up a 4th down. Ty Merkel will go back deep with Kyle Peterson. They will stand at their own 45-yard line. And Jordan Newsom will come in to punt. Newsom averaging 33 yards a kick. This is a guy, though, a pretty good coffin corner guy. If he gets a chance later on, we'll tell you about that. Here comes the kick, and it's an end-over-ender. And it'll be Peterson at the 39. He is across the 45, and down he goes. Tackle made by Lakeside Omar Hernandez, and that'll bring up 1st down and 10 for the Hilltoppers. Up front, left to right, Cody Carroll. Alex Coates gets to start at guard to replace Jordan McGee. Scott Linville, the center. Kylie Ritt, Joe Madsen, the tackle. We will have Andy Kersinger at tight end. Wideouts, Ty Merkel in the backfield. We'll see who they bring out. They've got Joey Case is going to start out there as well in the back. They'll bring him to the near side. Lee Thomas, the fullback. They run Isaiah Charlton as one of the wings.
Well, they're a little thin up the middle defensively. They're not packing him inside.
And that's Peterson, and a flag flies as he picks up 3 yards. He is upended there by Brandon Hanna.
Yeah, a nice little lane open up on that left side. And there you got was that holding infraction against Chardon?
Yep.
So that's going to bring it back and then some. Good little opening to Chardon. Kind of cut it to the outside, show a little speed. Though I'm surprised. I really thought that Lakeside defense would come at him by packing 7, 8 guys inside the box there, assuming Chardon would come inside on him. But he had it spread out, and they are daring Chardon to come in the middle as they pack it up a little bit tighter inside this play.
That is Charlton in motion, and this is a quarterback keeper, and Chad Davis will bounce across the 40. He'll get some of the yardage back to about the 43-yard line. For the Dragons defense is John Hernandez, Jose Rivera, Devin Crockett. Also see Derek Holly up front, Anthony Carlisle, Michael Canal, Jamaro Spikes, Jack Meany, Brandon Hanna, James Christian, and Kevin McCaleb. 2nd down now and 14. Copper's right in front of us. That's Thomas.
Let's break that down into 2 7-yard plays is what Chardon should be doing. As they go to the air for the first time tonight.
Davis and he dropped the football, and it's covered by Derek Holly.
Wow, that's a big mistake there. And that first break of the game goes to Lakeside. And it goes back onto this defense to dig deep and kind of see if they can hold out this Lakeside squad who has the momentum right now.
Well, he had 3 guys all over him.
Yeah, they got in on that one real quick. They beat them on the defensive line, beat out Chardon's offensive line there. But like you said, we do have some injuries, and besides that, you just don't have the continuity with a couple changes right in the middle of a line that routinely don't play with each other.
Newell and Holly to the far side. Now they'll bring Spikes up as a slot on the near side along with Dave Kriz. That is Hanna to throw. He's got some pressure, and he is going to go down back at the 37-yard line.
I'll tell you,
to make the play there was Cody Carroll.
Yeah, and Scott Linville was on that as well. I tell you, that's the thing. Hanna had pressure. He had pressure the last time. His mobility kept him out of it. So far, the 2 defensive lines are dominating up front over the offensive counterparts up there, because Chardon's getting into Lakeside's backfield as Lakeside got into Chardon's backfield.
2nd down, 15. They flood the far side of the field as Hanna will go back to throw again. Little pass to Spikes. He's got it at the 30, down to the 29-yard line. He'll pick up 7 there. Last season, Chardon beat Lakeside 47-28. It was 34-14 at the half. Bobby Doyle ran all over him last year. He had 6 touchdowns in that ball game.
That's a good night's work.
That's not too bad.
A good season for some people.
Right. Good careers for others. 3rd down and 9. Hanna to throw. Way back, setting up a screen pass. Here it comes. That's Carlisle, the fullback. He cuts it back, breaks a tackle. 20, 15 inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line. Oh, you could see that coming. Everybody around us here is yelling screen.
Boy, that showed some good balance by that Carlisle that day. He's a low center of gravity coming from a 5'8", 190 pound, and he just kind of got hit there. They had it You know, a lot of guys fell for the screen, but there were a couple that stayed back, and they had the opportunity to stop it, but just Carlisle's talents allowed him to break forward and get that first down for Lakeside.
His first reception of the year. There goes Spikes to the near side, or the far side, and he will get down to the 1 or 2 yard line, it looks like.
Boy, I tell you, he flows fast to the outside. It doesn't look like he's flowing as quick as he is, but all of a sudden he's out on that corner. He showed tremendous speed on that particular one, and saw the inside leg, cut it in, got some additional yardage.
First 2 games, 20 carries, only 20 carries for 123 yards. They go with a full house backfield now, and there's a touchdown.
Carlisle that time, the fullback. And so they capitalize on Chardon's fumble and get the first points on the game. But I'll tell you, I think we got a little bit of a shootout coming tonight. I don't think that's going to be anywhere near the last score. Like it's not going to be like last week's game where we had 7-7 at the end of regulation. I think both these squads are going to put a lot of points on the board before the evening's done.
Jordan Newsom in to attempt the point after. A straight on kicker guy, huh? That one is up, and that one is wide left. He missed it. So with 7:30 to go here in the first quarter, it is Lakeside 6 and Chardon nothing. So Lakeside doing what good teams will do, John. You give them a turnover in your territory, and they capitalize on it right away.
Yeah, and they did it, you know, with a mix of players. They used their big gun speed to the outside. They used the fullback up the gut, put the ball in the air a little bit. And that's exactly what you got to do against an aggressive defense like Chardon. Keep them offset. And actually them going to that quick hitting passes, the quick slant over the middle and all, is probably the best way to nullify that pass rush, because that's going to force them to kind of stay at home a little bit, not want to penetrate, because you know, he knows he's got that quick release and the ball's going to be thrown over, and if nothing else, you have a better angle to get your hand up and block it.
So Newsom will come in to kick off. Ty Merkel back deep. Also Dagg is back there, as well as Peterson. Danny Dagg to the far side.
He had a really good return last week, I remember.
Yep.
Now, I'll tell you, Lakeside drew first blood in this game, but I'll tell you that's Chardon doesn't feel, they know that there's going to be support. There's that little
2 weeks in a row we've seen that.
Incredible. No, it wasn't like that. It was what, Notre Dame or West G that did that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
wow, there's some leg. Yeah, there's no return on that one.
Newsom blasted into the end zone. So both kickoffs we've seen today have gone sailing into the end zone.
That is a weapon for both schools. It's incredible what a kick in the end zone does for the defense. Helps them out tremendously.
So Chardon will get it back, first down and 10 on their own 20-yard line. They fumbled their only possession. They fumbled it on their 31, and Lakeside with a 31-yard drive.
Let's see if Chardon tries a little up the gut play this time with Thomas.
Nope, this time it's Mason Bishop who's into the ball game as the fullback, and they do go straight up the middle for a gain of about 3 on the play. Bishop has carried the ball now 10 times, and that's good for 58 yards. If you tack on that 4 that he got there, actually they'll call it 3, so 57 yards.
Actually, I had the right strategy, just the wrong player in the game at the time. But I think that's the thing, got to open that up a little bit, get a little comfortable. As long as you're getting a good 3 yards per carry, keep trying up the middle bit until you build a cut. Whoa, we had a lot of balls showing on that one.
That's John Ross on the reverse, and he is picked up and thrown down by Jack Meany. What a great name for a defensive player, huh? Meany.
Yeah. Is he a linebacker as well? That's like pure linebacker name.
But John Ross is a guy that we're going to see in the ball game a little bit more. Did a lot of working out this week as a wingback and running back, so it's a guy that they know who has talent. They saw him do that from the quarterback position last year, and they want to get another weapon into the lineup, and we see him now in this second series coming in again as a wing.
Well, I'll tell you, having 4 or 5 wings flowing in and out keeps them all fresher and gives you a different look out of each one of them, too.
Snap was fumbled by Davis. He covers it, and he is covered by Anthony Carlisle, and that'll bring up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Hilltoppers, and that means Jake Young will come on to do that. He is a guy that averages 30.5 yards per kick. Going back deep, the ever dangerous Jamero spikes.
But Young does get it up in the air pretty good. So as long as your coverage team gets down there,
and he gets a high end over ender.
It's going to hit and get a roll out of it.
Nice.
Good roll.
Got it high enough where they could get down, just like you said, John. It will roll dead at the 33-yard line, and that is where Lakeside will take over.
Yeah, so that ends up at his punting average a little bit.
So the Dragons will take it over. They'll come back out. Nice first possession punt. Second possession took over on the Chardon 31-yard line, and it was a screen pass. The first pass caught this season by Anthony Carlisle that set up the touchdown. Carlisle, the up back in the I formation. That spikes as a deep back. Kriz to the near side. And Hanna, the quarterback, rolling out. He dumps it. That's Carlisle, and he dropped it right at the line of scrimmage. He had Lee Thomas in hot pursuit. Second down.
Well, I'll tell you, Hanna moves extremely well out of that quarterback position. And you know that one of these times he's going to see an opening if you drop too much, and he's going to use his legs purely and run it down the field. But he flows to his left, flows to the right, just has real good movement. And it's tough when you don't know where the quarterback is going to be to put on a good pass rush. If you get the straight drop back, he just comes straight up the gut. But if he can flow either way, speaking of him running.
There he goes, and he's got the first down as he's across the 45 to near the 48-yard line.
That was just a straight quarterback run as he took it, flowed over to the left side hole, and ran it up the field for the first down.
Well, and that's a guy that hasn't carried the ball very often. That's only his 10th carry of the season, which I guess for a lot of quarterbacks, that is a lot of carries. He had 36 yards going into the game today, and that average just went up.
Well, I went down to Ohio State last week, and Troy Smith only carried once in that game.
Yeah.
And you know he's going to be touching the ball a lot more.
This time it spikes, and he goes to midfield, and he'll gain a yard.
It's a good job of staying at home that time, as we had A.J. Teresi in on that tackle, just holding his corner position there and not allowing Spikes to get any open field room.
Gain of a yard on the play. It is second down and 9, probably a yard and a half. Tyrone Barnes is in at one of the wideouts as Hanna rolls out. He's going deep, looking for Kriz, and that ball is incomplete. Boy, Kriz and Merkel were really going at it down there.
Yeah, it was a little pushing. I'm not sure exactly. I guess there was enough by both that you don't throw a flag on either one of them.
Kriz with about 3-inch height difference over Merkel, but Merkel was right there and battled nicely. That'll bring up a third down now and 8.
I'll tell you, Hanna does have an arm on him.
For a guy that seems to move pretty well, he has been sacked 6 times this season. They run with Spikes as the lone setback. Again, it looks like they're setting up the screen, coming to the near side. That's Spikes, and he got drilled by Merkel. Yeah, Thomas got taken out of the play.
Yeah, Thomas read that he was going to step in front. It was probably a smart thing for that lineman. Stick the hand out and grab some of Thomas to keep him, because Thomas had stepped in front of him, picked that one off. It was probably 6 points for Chardon. So that was almost a smart penalty that time to grab hold of him.
Yeah, so they should decline this. That'll bring up a fourth down and a definite punting, unless they want the yards, John, and make them do it again. What do you think?
I think I'd decline it. Holding against them, decline.
Yeah, because they'll move it back to the 49.
I don't know. This Lakeside has such big play potential. I think I'd minimize the number of touches they get per game whenever you can.
So Newsom will come in to punt once more time. Danny Dagg, Ty Merkel back.
Good job by the Chardon defense at that time, doing their job and holding Lakeside so their offense can gel together and get something going themselves.
4:11 and counting here in the first. There's a low snap, but they get it off. He was way deep, huh? Boy, he banged that one to the 10. Good block. Here comes Merkel near side 20. 25 on his feet, 30, and out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Dagg just blasted one of the coverage guys for Lakeside. I think that was Omar Hernandez who took the hit there. Was either him or Dallas Jones.
Yes. Then you had some nice open field running there. Good blocking. They created the wall left a little bit for him. And you had the returner putting on some moves himself. That's what Chardonnay, that's a little pump of adrenaline for him. Maybe they'll get their offense in gear, turn around.
Charlton back in the game now as a wing. He goes in motion. They hand the ball straight up the gut. That's Lee Thomas, and he's got big yardage for a first down all the way up to the 44-yard line.
Wow, that's
quick hitter.
Well, no, I was looking at. He was led by half his line. There was like 3 of his linemen out in front of him, 7 yards downfield. I don't know if they totally pancaked their guys or what. I didn't really see the beginning of that play of what happened.
This time it's Thomas again, and he will go across the 45 to the 47-yard line, it looks like. So they'll give him a gain of almost 4 on that play.
Well, keep going up the gut like that.
Lee Thomas, every time he touches the ball, he's good for over 5 yards, John. Coming in 19 carries, 101 yard, and 2 touchdowns.
Well, then give it to him twice, move the stakes, give it to him twice more, move the stakes.
Well, Chardon almost 200 yards on the ground last week, 199 I think it was, and really, only the 7 points to show. Thomas again busts it up, breaks a tackle, stays on his feet. 40. He's to the 30. He's got a blocker, and he's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and out of bounds he goes inside the 5-yard line. Lee Thomas, huge run there, and the Hilltoppers are knocking on the door.
I'll tell you, Thomas needs a little breath here, but I keep him again. He deserves those 6 points. That was just a pure desire. Now Thomas is coming out.
Yep.
That was pure desire. They gave him a nice lane, then he ran over a couple guys, broke a couple of low leg tackles there, and showed some great speed as that was Hannon chasing him, and he finally got the angle to knock him out in the corner.
Mason Bishop in, but they hand the ball off, and that is Peterson. And Peterson lost some yardage. They're trying to get the corner. Loss of about 2, it looks like.
Wow,
I'll move it back to the 7.
I'll tell you, I'm still impressed with that Thomas run. That was like a highlight. That's what you open your 2006 highlight film with, that Thomas run where he's just flat out running over people and breaking tackles.
Great hole on the right side. Kylie Ritt and Joe Madsen. Man, oh man. As soon as he got past the initial line, that was that. Shotgun. Quarterback going to keep it. Davis gets inside, or actually to the 5 where they spot it, so that'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 to go.
Yeah, that's a big play here. This will decide what Chardon will do. They get 2-3 yards. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for 6 on the 4th down.
Danny Dagg will come back into the game for the Hilltoppers. Kersinger will go tight at right end. They stick with Mason Bishop as the fullback in the eye. Davis looking, now he's going to keep it, turn the corner, get to the corner, and he got it. Touchdown. 5-yard touchdown run.
Well, that's the best way to do it. That saves deciding what to do on 4th down. 4th down, you kick the extra point. That makes it nice and easy. Good hustle by Davis that time. Good ball handling there. He sold him a little bit on Bishop right up the gut there because he kept it in his belly for the longest time before he pulled it out.
Sam Marcotte in to attempt the point after for Davis. That is his 4th touchdown on the ground. He has yet to throw a touchdown pass this season. Just not untypical of the way this offense runs.
Big extra point because Lakeside missed there, so this will actually give Chardon a lead. And yeah, I'll tell you, missed extra points always can come back and haunt you.
Now, here's something else we got to talk about, John. The long snapper today is Kevin Taylor.
That's true.
So it's a brand new long snapper, and
because that was Alex Petrov, the one who got hurt there
with the shoulder.
Hurting him defensively and offensively, also hurts him a little bit on the snap, but
snap was there.
When you get a snap that clean, it doesn't matter.
So Marcotte bangs it through, and with 1:39 to go here in the first quarter, it is Chardon now leading it by a score of 7-6. So well done there by Kevin Taylor.
Yeah, it was not like we didn't have confidence in Kevin doing the job. It's just the fact that during the season, he doesn't get that many reps in snapping.
Basically got him this week.
They'll give him a few because he's pretty much the backup or something. You always want to have somebody in the wings in case you need them. But for the most part, the only one they make really work on it is the first guy.
Marty Mackard told us before the game he was very confident in his ability, and he lived up to that. Hey, don't remember, nonprofit organizations from our funding communities can send us your announcements of interest to GTV. Post Office Box 336 Chardon, or you can fax us at 285-9897, or you can email us at geaugatv@alltel.net. Don't forget our website is www.geaugatv.org. So check it out for more GTV information. We'd love to hear from you. Again, Post Office Box 336 here in Chardon. Sam Marcotte to kick.
Yeah, I think we'll see Chardon's defense come out with even more fire now, because now they feel like they're in the ball game again. Obviously, they're never out of it, just down 6-0, but getting your first points is very important, especially since they didn't get any whole first half last week.
Right.
So it's kind of kills that little barrier to get through.
That touchdown that Lakeside scored in the first quarter was the first quarter touchdown the Hilltoppers have given up all season. Marcotte to boot it. And he line drives it over Spikes' head, and that will bounce into the end zone. You have to wonder.
Are you sure about that statistic? Did Kinston score in the
second quarter?
Oh, that was second quarter?
Yeah.
They scored? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like their
Chardon
second
had
possession.
going into today, they're 1-1.
Yeah, they had
given up
shutout.
and had given up 10 points.
Yeah, that's true.
So a touchdown and then the overtime field goal.
Obviously, that was 10 too much.
That's exactly right.
You know, if it's going to get you a 1-1 record.
But going back to this, wouldn't you think that after now 2 kickoffs, you would plant Spike? If you really want him to return the ball, you plant him at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, that way he knows.
Because the ball hit at the 1. There's the fullback Carlisle.
You either catch it or it goes over your head, and you know, if they want him to catch it, that's probably the best place to do it.
That was a nice 9-yard gain by Carlisle. That was a 67-yard drive by my calculations for Chardon. But now twice they've had him at the 7-yard line, and he has let the ball bounce where he could have caught it at the 1 and brought it out. So we'll see if they decide to change that should Chardon kick off again. There's a quarterback keeper right up the middle, and that's Hanna across the 30 for the first down. He'll get to the 32-yard line. He'll give him a gain of 3 on that play. Coming up off the bottom of the pile, looks as though it was Joe Madsen.
Yeah, I believe 62 Madsen. Yep. Yeah, I predict there'll be a lot of kickoffs by both these kickers tonight.
Clock continues to run. We're under 1 minute to go here in the first quarter. 7-6, the Toppers lead it. Hanna to throw, swings it out to Spikes, and that is incomplete.
Boy, Spikes was chasing it. It could have been too far in front of him there.
Just wanted to. We was waiting on the whistle there to see if that was going to be a lateral or not, and we are down to 52 seconds. We've got an official timeout down on the field. I don't know if we've got an equipment problem. I think Joe Madsen's helmet.
Now, it might be that, or it could be some of that rubberized surface bouncing up into somebody's eyes, because that carpet's starting to get a little bit thin out there, and they're going to have to be considering you know, jumping onto replacing it here in the very near future.
Second down, the pass right through the hands of Spikes. Well, I tell you what, Hanna's showing some good arm strength there, John, and put it right where Spikes could handle it, but right through his hands, and that'll bring up a third down.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit out of sync here. I think they got just a hair gun shy by Chardon coming back at him with the big plays themselves, because Hanna overthrew that last one, which he's been pretty sharp in his little swing passes, and Spikes let it go right through his hands that time. So I think they might have got to Lakeside's psyche just a little bit.
49 seconds to go. They run a draw. That's Carlisle, and he breaks a tackle. He's to the 40. He's got a first down. 45 up to midfield and across midfield down to Chardon territory at the 48-yard line. Big run there.
Well, I'll tell you, that Carlisle is a load. He just comes at you, and when he's going to feel impact, he comes at you from such a low level. It's like trying to, you know, tackle a running pair of shoulder pads. It's just incredible. He's a good-looking runner. I didn't hear anything about him, but so far he's impressed me more than Spike.
Well, actually, he's got more rushing yards than Spikes does coming into this ball game.
Okay, well, I guess I got to read up a little closer.
First down and 10. That is Spikes. He cuts it back, and he is wrapped up nicely. I think that was Lee Thomas that put his helmet right there and wrapped him up and brought him down. A.J. Teresi also helping out on that tackle.
Yeah,
I'll give him maybe a gain of a half a yard on the play.
They needed that because Lakeside started to do the brakes a little bit.
Well, that's going to do it. We've come to the end of the first quarter from Memorial Stadium here at Chardon. The Hilltoppers have taken a 7-6 lead. The second quarter comes your way next on GTV. The Hilltoppers took the lead in that first quarter on a touchdown run of 5 yards by their quarterback, Chad Davis, set up by a great run by Lee Thomas. The second down and 9 now. They hand the ball to Carlisle, the fullback. He breaks a tackle, and he gets upended finally there by Kyle Peterson. He ran through a couple of guys, and you got to wrap this kid up. We've said it week in and week out.
What I've seen so far, he may be the man to stop. This is an added weapon that I didn't realize Lakeside had. You know, obviously you look at the flash, the guy that can throw the ball at a tight spiral 40 yards, the guy who can burn down at 4.4, 4.5 speed. But it's the workhorse is the one that's killing Chardon right now.
Saw the big center, Greg Jahola, come out. 6'4", 320.
That's a big boy.
That's a good anchor on the middle of your line.
Yeah, that definitely fortifies the interior part.
Carlisle spins for potentially a first down there.
That time we had Linville and Madsen in on that one, wrapping them up around the ankles, which if you get underneath them, that's what you got to be able to do, because boy, does he come in that line charging low.
The referee's going to ask for the change to be brought out.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is 4-down territory anyhow. I think Lakeside would go for it at this point.
Well, and if you've got a guy like Anthony Carlisle in your backfield, you're nuts not to go for it in Chardon territory if they don't make it. But looks like they may have made it by the nose of the football. They stand the stick up straight, and they're saying just short.
No, just short. I see Madsen over there waving, saying that's no problem. Just give me the ball.
Yeah, well, it's time for my favorite play. Brandon Hanna leaned forward behind. If you can't pick up an inch behind a 320-pound center.
Yeah, that's true.
You with me there?
That's kind of follow left cheek or follow right cheek is the way you go on that one.
And the right guard is Jeff Candela. He's 275.
So you would
liking
recommend
my chances
going
to the right side. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, he bounced off the pile. I don't know if he got it. Instead of going to the right or the left, he went straight behind the center.
He is giving them some forward progress.
And the ball came out as
well.
Where
the referee is marking it, he's giving forward progress, but
and they didn't get it.
Not enough.
They did not get it. How about that?
Well, I'd have to say that's probably true, because he ran directly into his center that time. I mean, you got to slide off one side or the other. You can't go directly into him.
Right.
That's what he did
for the right side.
And he really didn't fire out. So
that's
it
my
was
favorite play.
You don't get the 1 yard. Well, when executed properly. Good job by that Chardon defense, stuffing up that middle, not allowing the center to get across the line for that 1-inch gain.
That's Mason Bishop, and Bishop will get a yard or so.
Ball pops out, but I think I heard the whistle, and nobody's panicking. So there.
John Ross back in as one of the wings now. He was in there with A.J. Teresi. Merkel comes out, Teresi comes out, and back into the game is Danny Dagg. He'll run the play in.
That's good. It definitely beats that quarterback coming to the sideline to get him. And I see Lakeside doesn't do that either, so we got one of those. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. And oh, we get a whistle.
Whistle
procedure. They moved a little bit on that left side of the Chardon line there.
Second,
a little hiccups.
We'll turn second down and almost 10 into second down and almost 15. 10:21 to go. We invite you to stick around at halftime. We'll have the Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band coming your way. We had some great ceremonies before that you'll see at some point during the GTV day. The 1956 Chardon Hilltopper football team was here tonight. How cool was that?
That is nice.
And the head coach is...
And they get a free T-shirt.
Yeah, free T-shirt out of it.
Every one of them got a free T-shirt tonight.
That's Ross in motion, and he doesn't get it. Davis got squashed.
Yeah.
He got knocked down by Devin Crockett.
I tell you, that's part of that defensive line penetration that time, because Davis faked the wing coming by him or something, and all of a sudden I think he was going to shoot out of the blocks, but there was a player right in his face.
Well, you talk about Crockett, low center of gravity, 5'9", 242. That's his 10th tackle for a loss this season.
Wow.
In only the 2.5 games. Davis with a quick kick, and he popped it straight up.
And it's probably going to, oh, I thought it was going to bounce out. Ooh.
It's going to be taken.
Boy, that might be one of those that when he comes back to the bench, Lakeside coach says, nah, just let that one go. It's just too high risk.
Well, you never know. And you were going to get the ball about there anyway, so now they'll get the ball now at the...
Ball is spotted.
Yeah, Chardon tried to get the ball downfield, gain field position on that surprise, but Davis got a little bit too much air under that, got it up in the air.
Saw that last week as well.
He's doing some cadence count over there because you saw the Chardon hiccup a little bit on the left side of their line, but they just didn't cross in that neutral zone.
Hanna kept it. Picked up almost 8 down to the 40. Well, the last time Lakeside took the ball over in Chardon territory, they scored. They got it at the Chardon 31 and went in for a touchdown. Anthony Carlisle, the fullback, went in from a yard out, but there was a nice screen pass set up to Carlisle that really set up that score for him.
Yeah, that Chardon defense has got the pressure on them tonight. Unfortunately, the offense is not giving them real good field position here. They've kind of had to dig in a lot deeper than they normally would have to.
Long count by Hanna, and he's going to keep it. He wishes that he had.
Nowhere.
Oh, man, Jake Young.
Yeah, Young was waiting right on the corner.
Lee Thomas was there as well.
You know what the problem on that one was, is they got penetration right up the gut there, and they just pushed the lineman into the fake zone where he was trying to fake it to the running back, and everything got all bunched together, and that's what killed that play, was the up front in the middle guys for Chardon. They're probably Madsen and Linville getting penetration and pushing their offensive counterparts back into the backfield, messing up the whole sequence of the play.
Looks like a loss of a yard, and Lakeside's going to take a timeout. They're thinking this is a pretty important point of the night. Should tell you that tonight's game is funded by your cable subscriber franchise fees. We'd like to again extend thanks to all the GTV funding communities, including those not funding today's contest, for the year-round support. They are Burton Township, Burton Village, Chardon Township, Chardon Village, Hamden Township, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. We are thrilled once again to be able to continue to bring you local public service programming with a special emphasis on those communities. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to our viewers for their support. Great to hear from you. If you want to drop us a line, we'd love you to do that over at Geauga TV at alltel.net. Wanted to hear what you're thinking about Chardon Hilltopper football. I know we've got another game coming up later in the season against Eastlake North right here in this very ballpark, and then they bring the season down in week number 10 as we go out to Burton to see Cardinal take on Berkshire. That's always a fun ball game, and both of those teams off to 2-0 starts this year.
Yeah, they're off to very good time. I wouldn't mind doing some playoff games with those two and Chardon as well.
So here we go, 3rd down and 4. Carlisle is the lone setback. 4 wideouts now in the pattern. Hanna to throw. Hit as he throws, and the pass is caught, and no, it's not. Dropped, incomplete. Couldn't see that ball pop out of the hands of the intended receiver, Deontay Newell.
Yeah, he had pressure coming from a right defensive end that time as Cody Carroll beat his man and was on him. Probably made him throw the pass just a little bit quicker than they really wanted to, and that's what good pressure can do for you. Is this Chardon defensive up front group is doing a great job today.
4th down and 4. Hanna with a hard count, another hard count.
I think he's trying to draw him off. He's trying to get the free first, and now it didn't happen.
Delay a game.
They don't care about that. It gives them 5 yards extra to punt on. They bring the punting team out. That was totally to check the discipline of the Chardon up front group, see if they jump over and give them the freebie 1st down.
Well, good discipline shown. Newsom into punt. He's boomed a punt earlier. Back is Merkel.
Yeah, really, for him, 45 extra yards is no big deal, you know?
Yeah, he could blast in the end zone if he chooses to. He will stand at his 40. The sun's starting to set here now. It's a gorgeous night for football.
It is. It's starting to get a little bit cooler, but it's still perfect almost.
Got the kick away. Nice spiral toward the far side. Merkel on the run. grabs it and goes out of bounds at the 14-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah,
our best vantage point of the season so far, too.
Yeah, it looks like 14 is a good guess.
Spotted on the 14-yard line.
So that will bring the Chardon offense back. They lead at 7-6. We have moved along to 7:57 to go in the first half.
And I'm surprised that we're still sitting at a 7-6 game because we have had a lot of offense. Both these teams have been moving the ball, you know, and they're getting their yardage on the ground and stuff. It's just that all of a sudden the defense will dig in deep and put the big stop on them.
John Ross is now in at quarterback for the Hilltoppers.
Different look.
And he hands the ball off. That's a big run by Charlton. And Charlton is near the 40-yard line, and across the 40 goes to the 45-yard line. Isaiah Charlton, his first carry of the night, averages almost 11 yards a carry on the season, and that will go up there.
Yeah, they gave him that outside corner real nice. They cut it sharp, went up the field, and cut against the grain by cutting back towards the middle there. And that gets Chardon out of that hole and gets them a little adrenaline rush for their offense.
Mason Bishop is the fullback. And that's who carries the football up to the 49-yard line. Looks like a gain of about 6 on that play.
Yeah, I don't suspect that Davis is hurt or that they're unhappy with him or something. I seriously think it was just kind of one of those, let's bring in a relief pitcher for a while, you know, just a totally different look, get the offense moving a little bit, and so far it seems to have worked well.
Sure has. Second down now and about 4. They hand the ball off. That's Charlton again. He gets stood up, and that should be a first down. If they mark it at the 36.5-yard line, that's a first down.
This referee, if they take the mark of the referee on this side, they're signaling first down. Yeah, because you can tell the Davis situation, because I see the head coach down there for Chardon, and Davis is just off his shoulder there.
Now, this is still a learning process for Chad Davis as a junior as well, John. Now you've got the senior that was the starter last year out there.
Well, I don't think
it's a nice combination that if you can make it work.
When you have the luxury of having two starting quarterbacks, we can just come out with a different look.
Charlton again, and he gets almost 10.
Yeah, he's
about a half a yard shy of a first down. Isaiah Charlton, all of a sudden, junior running back.
And that's what a different look can do for you, too. You know, it's just the running backs react a little different. They actually got a little different personnel in there now completely.
Just about halfway through the second quarter, 6:05 and counting. Ross fakes it. He keeps it. Up the middle he goes. First down to the 30. He'll pick up almost 6 on that play. And John Ross will pick up the first down. That's his 6th carry of the season now, has 26 yards.
Yeah,
does have a touchdown as well.
Yeah, the reason that play worked now where it didn't before is they opened up the outside. They handed it to the wings coming past and getting the defense flowing to the outside a little bit. That opened up the middle for the quarterback keeper.
First down and 10, and we've got movement up front.
Yeah, 52.
Devin Crockett
definitely crossed the neutral zone. I think he actually tapped a Chardon player's helmet.
Well, the one thing that I noticed last week, and I'm no X's and O genius when it comes to football, but there was just a lot of single man in motion for Chardon last week, almost a new style wing offense versus the old style where we see the cutters behind, the wings going in different directions. So,
and you got to use those guys. It's the deception of motion too that is part of this offense.
First down and 5. There goes a man in motion, and that time Ross is going to keep it. He's to the 10. He's to the 5-yard line, and an ankle tackle saved the touchdown.
It just about kept his balance. He was like crawling on his hands a little bit, trying to get his balance and take it in because there was no safety man or anybody in front of him. He could have been able to keep that balance, which, would have been a very difficult thing to do. That would have been 6 points for Chardon, but they definitely got the drive going right now.
Started at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement.
There was no flags, though, as Ross just gets abused behind the line of scrimmage back to the... Actually, he might have picked up a yard to the 9-yard line.
Well, there isn't a flag.
Looked like
I wonder if that was just a slow snap from center or something, because it seemed like everybody moved before quarterback Ross was moving, so he hadn't got the ball as of yet, but he had to get the ball off the ground or they would have been calling motion on Chardon.
4:40 to go, first half. 7-6 Hilltoppers are knocking on the door. Lee Thomas back in the game as the fullback. John Ross is the quarterback. That's Charlton, and he takes the handoff on the jet sweep to the 5. Tripped up, and down he goes at about the 3-yard line. A couple of yards shy of the first down. They run that little jet sweep, and
yeah, that's kind of the play that's got him down there thus far. Chardon has a very nice drive going on this one. This is a better drive. The last one to drive was pretty much a long run by Thomas.
Right.
This is pure drive. They're mixing it up a little bit. Little Ross, little Charlton. Got Thomas back in at the fullback
Ross
spot.
again, touchdown. John Ross goes in from 3 yards out, and the Hilltoppers extend the lead.
I'd have to say that may be their best drive of the year, where they mixed it up. Because they just went, there was like a totally revamped offense that time. Not necessarily that they changed the quarterback position. I don't really think that was the effect. They seemed to change the play calling and the whole mentality of the offense that time. That was just a totally different look offense, and I don't think it had anything to do with personnel.
Sam Marcotte in to attempt the PAT. Another good snap. Another good kick, and that's right there. Marcotte now 7 out of 7 on the season, and extra points with 3:54 to go in the half. It is the Chardon Hilltoppers 14, the Lakeside Dragons 6, and that was an 86-yard drive. Merkel took that punt at the 14-yard line, and 86 yards later, they chewed up some serious clock there, and now they will kick off, but Sam Marcotte.
I don't think there was a play more than 10, 12 yards. That was probably the longest play in that carry, wasn't it? I don't think they ripped off a really big one.
Well, we'll see if Lakeside adjusts now, John, and sends Spikes back to the goal line, or if they're going to continue to let balls bounce over his head inside the 5 that eventually get into the end zone.
Well, we should see come up here.
No wind really to speak of. So
Lakeside wasn't sure what side of the field they were on as all the players headed off to our left here. Then they looked and they saw there's a bunch of black shirt guys on that side. Maybe we're on the other side.
This will be their 6th possession here in the first half. The second possession, they recovered a fumble and took it in 31 yards on their drive. The sophomore Marcotte to tee it up, and he kicks it, and it will be a little bit shorter. Spikes on the run at the 10. 15-20, cuts back, breaks a tackle, stays on his feet to the 23-yard line before he is finally brought down. And Isaiah Charlton was there. Also looked like Jeff Buhner was there as well.
But Marcotte was able to get it up in the air where the defenders were able to get downfield and get good coverage on that one. As Young kind of hemmed him in on the side there, wasn't able to bring him down, but he definitely slowed him down, and his teammates come up and finished him off. So it was a good team effort by Chardon all around.
They'll spot it at the 29-yard line. That'll be a first down and 10.
So we're down to 3:48 left in this first half of what's been a very well played and virtually penalty free. We've had a couple flags thrown, but nothing too major tonight. Not like last week by any means.
Hanna keeps it on the option, and he'll get to the 34-yard line, so he'll pick up almost 5 on that first down. For the Hilltoppers, look like Cody Carroll was there. Looked like Mason Bishop might have helped out as well. We'll give him a gain of about 6 now. Well, almost, no, we'll say still call it 5 where they spot it. Second down and 5. Clock continues to run. 3:20 to go here in the first half. Brandon Hanna on the end around the Spikes, and Lee Thomas stayed home there.
Thomas and Bishop and
Kersinger was there as well.
Yeah, I think everybody, half the team, whoever should have been on the right side was on the right side.
Well, that's what you hope on any of those plays when you have deception going one way. You got to stay at home.
And that's exactly what they did that time, and they tried a little dipsy doodle reverse to the bringing it back to the left side. It just didn't flow at all because Chardon played their defensive positions real well.
Look at Coach Boers all the way down to the 30-yard line.
Well, he wants an angle, though. We'll look at him from behind. That is a good coaching perspective.
Yeah.
From the side, you really don't see what you see what half the team's doing.
Hannah from the shotgun.
Oh, there's a little hand holding there.
Rolls out, little dying quail, intercepted. Intercepted by Kyle Peterson. That's his first interception of the season.
Yeah.
And the Hilltoppers will get it back at their own 46-yard line.
And it really came at a very good time because this was a hole the defense have really wanted because they've been playing well. Their offense has kicked it up. Chardon's got a little bit of a cushion on their lead now with the 8 points. And it's kind of they put it right back in the lap of the defense to keep it that way and hold them here and not allow Lakeside to do it. And they even went one better and got the turnover and the interception by Peterson.
Ross stays in at quarterback. We've got a flag, and that came from the referee. I wonder if they got too many.
Somebody lined up in a.
Too many men up. Nope, legal procedure against the. Did you watch the Miami-Florida State game?
Yeah, I saw. It's a great game.
You know, we talk about in high school football the kiss of death penalties, offensive pass interference, 15 yards and loss of down. They had an illegal participation play. 12 guys on the field, 15 yards. If they're running off the field, it's only 5 because the guy was trying to get off.
Right.
If you play the play with 12 guys, it's 15 yards.
Is that a new rule?
That's Teresi. He cuts back, and he is to the 45-yard line. I thought it wasn't a ball that went on the ground. It was a helmet that went flying off. I think A.J. lost his...
I hope there was no head inside that helmet.
He's all right.
Okay.
He'll get about 3 of the yards back, down to exactly
12.
2 minutes to go.
Second and, say, 12.
Yep.
Chardon does a hurry-up. No huddle this time. They had 2 plays called.
There's Ross. Ross across midfield to the 48-yard line. That'll leave him about 5 yards shy. Clock continues to run now, 1:44 to go. So they're in the 2-minute hurry-up offense.
I tell you, the referees ought to watch a little bit. I see a little bit of shoving after plays right now. So that's one of those things you want to nip in the bud early.
So move your car immediately. This is a message from the
Chardon coming out of shotgun with, again, no huddle.
That's Charlton with a hole. He's short of the first down.
Yeah.
He'll get to the 45, a yard shy with 1:14 to go. And
Interesting
Lakeside,
to see what Chardon does this time.
Somebody's taking a timeout.
So they're singing a Chardon.
Yep.
Yeah, they want. So that's probably a good timeout.
Yep.
Try to consider exactly what it is you want to do. If you want to go for it, if you want to punt, and not make it a rash judgment. You're at least got the consideration time.
Yeah, you don't want to get in a rash. Also, don't forget birthdays, anniversaries, other special occasions can be made more special through where? GTV.
Where else?
Email that terrific picture or pictures to us, and we'll help highlight the event. Send it to GeaugaTV@alltel.net. That's GeaugaTV@alltel.net. Or you can send it along with a self-addressed stamped envelope. Once again, our address is GTV, Post Office Box 336, Chardon 44024. You can also check us out on the web at www.geaugatv.org.
Okay, and anybody out there that sees our general manager Dave Jevnikar this week after this telecast here, the forthcoming week, make sure you wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, when is that coming up?
I'm not sure if it's next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, somewhere there, but I know it's coming up this coming week. So after this plays, his birthday will be still coming. So if you see Dave on the street, you be sure and wish him a happy birthday.
Nobody ever sees Dave on the street. He's never out in the community.
Yeah, that's true. He's like a mole. He's underground a lot.
4th and 1, Chardon going for it. They're going to run all kinds of guys to different positions. That is Joey Case way to the far side. Ross going to go under center now. 4th and 1. Might be just a long count. They're going to do the same thing.
Barking a little too loud.
Yep, delay a game before they got the timeout, so now they'll punt. That's all right. Give it a shot there, right?
Yeah, except not off of timeout. I don't agree with that call on a timeout because the other coach is thinking of that as a possibility and saying, listen, they may be trying what we tried 10 minutes ago. So, you know, discipline. Without the timeout, it's worth a shot. With the timeout, I think it's kind of telegraphed a little bit.
Number 25, Young.
Yeah, Chardon wants a timeout now. Jim DePope called timeout, and he hadn't gotten it.
I think the referee said, what are you doing here?
Yeah. So they'll take a timeout with 1:12 to go, 14-6. Let's recap the scoring real quick as long as we've got a second. 7:30 to go in the first quarter after Chardon had fumbled the ball on their own 31-yard line. Anthony Carlisle for Lakeside went in from 1 yard out. A 31-yard drive. The PAT by Jordan Newsom was no good, and Lakeside led it 6-0. Chardon would get the ball back a couple of possessions later. They would go on a 67-yard drive, capped off by a 5-yard run by the quarterback, Chad Davis. Sam Marcotte's extra point was good, and Chardon led it by a score of 7-6. Then we went all the way to 3:54 to go in the quarter after Chardon took the ball after a punt on their own 14-yard line. They drove 86 yards. John Ross, who was in at quarterback at that point, went in from 3 yards out. The Marcotte kick, of course, was good, and that's where we stand right now. Chardon leads it by a score of 14-6. Jake Young to punt. Back deep is Jamero Spikes.
Single man back there, too.
Young gets it off, angles it to the sideline.
Nice kick.
Spikes lets it bounce.
Takes a Lakeside bounce, but still down a very manageable punt. Got it down to 21.
So Chardon had the ball on their own 46-yard line to start that last drive, and it sputtered, could not get a first down. They'll give it back to Lakeside with 1:03 to go, and Lakeside with 2 timeouts left.
But the thing is, now Lakeside only has 1:03, and like I said, I think Chardon will be very happy taking a 14-6 lead into the locker room at halftime, as they well should be. I would say the new coach, Lakeside, is a much better looking team. They just seem a lot more cohesive than they have in the past years. Obviously, they have some talent, but they just seem to play better as a team. So I think it's coach maybe a very good thing for Lakeside
they
team.
Were 7-3 last year. They won the NEC with a 4-0 record. He takes over a decent program. That's a gain of 4 on the play.
Well,
tackle made by Thomas and Kersinger.
They're not winning the NEC this year, I can guarantee you. They're not in the league this year. Next year, they're going to be in the pack.
And I know they've got North on the schedule coming up next week, I think. North and Madison, so they're practically in the pack right now.
Yeah, except they don't count league standing games at all.
3rd down and 3 with 14 seconds to go. We'll see if they even attempt another play here, John. Looks like they're taking
they're not even going to break huddle.
Well, the Hilltoppers with a pretty impressive first half, especially from a defensive side of things. The only score they gave up was after a turnover, a 31-yard drive by the Dragons, and the Hilltoppers will go to the locker room at halftime with a 14-6 lead. Well, that's going to do it for first half action here. We invite you to stick around, though. We'll take a little break. When we come back, we'll have the Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band, and we'll get you set for second half football action. You're watching Chardon Hilltopper football on GTV.
Gentlemen, introducing the 2006-2007 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. With Rachel Henry and Michaela Willis as drum majors, we will be entertaining you this evening with tunes from the 70s hit rock group Queen. Our percussion break this evening was composed by Ben Griffiths, Ralph Coyle, and Hunter Elliott. Now with drum major Rachel Henry and the trumpets, Alex Chartrand, Hope Merker, Liz Cox, and Jesse Werbach, we now feature our majorettes with Captain Mallory Geisman. Here is Don't Stop Me Now. And feature our toperettes with Captains Lindsay Russell and Heather Greco. Our next tune reached #1 across the board in America and was also popular throughout Europe. Here is Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2006-2007 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band!
And welcome back to Memorial Field here in Chardon. The Hilltoppers with a 14-6 lead. We hope you enjoyed the Hilltopper Marching Band here tonight. And John, Chardon will get the ball to start the second half, so that's a good thing as well. And really offensively, they brought John Ross in, give him a little bit different look near the end of that first half, and it worked out very well.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think that's just a strategy thing to create exactly that, a totally different look. We have a few stats here for you.
All right.
Okay, let's go off of Chardon first. Leading rusher for them is Lee Thomas, 3 carries, 63 yards, good 21-point average. That's kind of lead the area.
Yep.
Most of it on that one big run he had. John Ross, 6 carries, 32 yards, 5+ yards per carry. And Isaiah Charlton had 5 carries for 56 yards, mostly on that one long touchdown drive. He averaged over 11, so 26 carries for Chardon total, 160 yards on the ground, nothing in the air. For Lakeside, we got their leading carrier was Carlisle, the big fullback, or low to the ground fullback. 7 carries, 43 yards, 6+ per carry. Hannah, the quarterback, had 7 carries for 26 yards, roughly 4 yards per carry. And Jamero Spikes had 5 carries, 14 yards, 23 total. Total yardage on the ground was 19 carries for 83 yards. And on top of that, they had some in the air. Ross is passing 4 for 11 with a 1 interception for 33 yards, 116 total yards versus Chardon's 160. In what was a fairly even game, and the yardage kind of tells you Chardon's up by 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and Chardon pretty much on track of their average for the season, John. They average almost 300 yards on the ground, so they're halfway there right now. And
exactly, and they actually got off to a slow start. Their first couple series, they really didn't get much of anything. And then finally, they kicked it into gear, starting to get the drives going, resulting in those 2 scores, plus moving the ball other times. So Chardon came alive after the first couple series of the game.
The Lakeside averages almost 215 yards on the ground per game. And actually, if you look at how Chardon has done against them on the passes tonight, it's done well as well, because Lakeside, the first 2 games, 170 yards a game through the air.
Well, they have got them down now to 33. If they can duplicate that in the second half, that bodes well for
quite a feat.
The home team, Chardon Hilltoppers.
All right, here comes Jordan Newsom. He bombed
got into that one.
End zone his last time up. Merkel will take it at the 1.
Yeah, about the 1.
And he's got some room, and he's still on his feet to the 30. He's to the 35-40. He's going. The foot race is on, and forget about it. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, 99 yards.
There's a flag down on the 20.
Back at the 20.
Far 20.
Yikes.
And that's about where he made that cut outside. So I'm sure somebody either pushed in the back or grabbed hold of somebody coming up. But wow, that was explosive. Merkel just got it. Boy, he showed some speed on his own on that one too.
Holding against the Hilltoppers.
So that will come back.
The flag is at the 20.
And what could have been 6 points is probably going to come back to the 10-yard line. The flag's thrown right on the 20, so that's probably where the infraction took place, and they'll mark off the 10 from there.
How about 99 yards?
That was incredible. And that was a heck of a kick. I think it was up in the air, too.
Jim Britt, one of the coaches for Chardon, talking to the official that probably is the guy that threw the flag on that.
Well, I've never seen an official talk to a coach and pick it up and say, nah, I changed my mind.
They'll move it back to the 10.
So the penalty's going to hold, yes.
So Chardon will take over on their 10.
But boy, that just gave them a little shot. And
John Ross comes out at quarterback to start the second half for the Hilltoppers. He will bring Kyle Peterson out there with him as one of the wings. Also, Joey Case will come out as one of the wideouts. He will split out. Lee Thomas back in at fullback, and Isaiah Charlton the other wing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Thomas get a couple quick carries here early on. One, it's a safer to go right up the gut, and 2, so far he's been their big play guy tonight.
That's where they go, right up the gut, and he picks up a couple 3 yards on that first down. And you like to get him in there now, John, because he's had the half to rest.
Right.
During the course of the ball game, we saw a lot more of Mason Bishop because of the fact that Thomas is so active on defense.
Right. coming out of that middle linebacker spot there, you know, it's he gets a little tired out, and you want to keep that fullback fresh. But luckily, they have one heck of a duo there at fullback between Bishop and Thomas.
There's Charlton, and Charlton is spun across the 20, and that'll be good for a first down. He'll gain about 8, maybe even 9 on that play.
And that's
that'll
a big
bring up
one.
A first down and 10.
That's a big one to get them out of the hole. Now they can open up and do all kinds of things because now they got a little bit of maneuverability room here.
Well, they started one drive in the first half on their 14-yard line. They drove 86 yards and scored a touchdown. First down and 10 at the 23-yard line. Danny Dagg is into the game as well. He splits wide to the far side. That's John Ross from the shotgun. They hand it off. That's Peterson. He cuts back up the middle, and it looks like he will pick up about 3 yards. We'll call it second down and 7.
One of the Ashtabula players showing the ball afterwards as he kind of ripped it out, but I think it was after that whistle had blown where they'd said Peterson was stopped at that point. So ripping the ball off after the whistle is just for flash.
Clock is running, 10:22 to go here in the third quarter. Just underway. Craig Dees, John Walsh. Glad to be back with you for Chardon Hilltopper football again. Ross again from the shotgun. That's Peterson. And Ross is going to keep it. Breaks a tackle up the middle. He's got some room. He's to midfield, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the touchdown. Woo!
Yeah, you had Hannah
71 yards.
That one. Boy, I'll tell you, that is a type of play that just takes the wind right out of the sails of Lakeside. One, they did it on the opening kickoff with that 99-yard return by Merkel, but that was nullified with a penalty. But to come back with explosiveness and bust one up the middle there, Lakeside's reeling a little bit because whatever adjustments they made at halftime, Chardon just took them out the window and might make a change in whatever they were going to do offensively, because now they're going to be down 2 scores.
John Ross is pretty fast.
Yeah, he showed some speed there. That was Hannah, who we know Hannah could fly, and Hannah could catch him. Again, he wasn't picking up any ground at all.
Once he got through that initial wave, and actually somebody had a grab of his leg. Once he got through, though, man, oh man, forget about it.
Yeah, he had some nice downfield blocking, too. They did create the hole, and the linebacker, like you said, was able to grab the ankle, but that was it. He broke that, and then it was just purely off to the races.
Didn't catch that signal from the official, but it's going to move the ball half the distance to the goal. Another good snap, another good kick, and that one's right there. So with 10:02 to go, third quarter, 21 for Chardon, 6 for Lakeside. John Ross has come in now. Now the quarterbacks for Chardon have 3 touchdowns between them. Chad Davis had 1 in the first quarter, and now John Ross has 2, 1 in the second and 1 in the third. So a nice offensive effort there will give the Chardon defense a little bit of breathing room here today. A defense that up until now in 2.5 games has given up a total of 16 points.
I'll tell you, and that is something that makes Chardon even more dangerous down the road. When you know now that you do have the 2 experienced quarterbacks, both at their own special skills, and they can come in and complement each other, give different looks and all at any time, and that's something that every team they play from now on will have to keep that in the back of their head, because it's obviously something that's probably going to be, they'll be flip-flopping throughout the season, I'm sure.
And we've seen Isaiah Charlton kind of have a little bit of a coming out here today as well from that wing position to complement going deeper and deeper there as well. I mean, you can't have enough athletes. They're missing somebody out there on the field, and here he comes. That's Kevin Taylor. Nope, now he's going to come off, and now Thomas will come out. Kevin Taylor was going to run out there. He figured, well, he's doing the long snap, and may as well go out and plug that gap there. All right, Sam Marcotte to kick off. Spikes deep. Newell deep.
Good
that
kick
is hammered
again.
towards Spikes at the 6. Spikes to the 20, 25, breaks a tackle, 30. He's to the 35, cuts back to the 40, down to the 43-yard line.
Well, they sealed him in pretty good, though.
Joey Case on the tackle.
Yeah, but that was kind of one of the important ones on that, even though he doesn't get any stats out of it, Danny Dagg, number 28, got on the outside and kind of made a move to make him cut it back inside where he could get help from his teammates. If you give that up, allow him to get to the outside, he might have blown it open all the way.
Newell and Holly go to the far side. Chris to the near side with Spikes as a slot. Hannah to throw. Being chased. And he is going to let it fly, and the pass is incomplete. Pass was intended for Newell. And he's showed some speed, John. At least in that case, he probably wouldn't have lost any yardage. He got back to the line of scrimmage before he let that fly, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
2nd and 10.
Yeah, and the thing about that one is he was almost on a full sprint when he threw that one, which, you know, definitely takes away. You can do, there's some of them that can flow outside one way or the other and throw on the run, but it's a little more difficult to throw out of a full sprinting position there because your accuracy just suffers because your depth perception is off because of the extra speed you have going for you.
Tyrone Barnes is into the ball game as a wideout. That is Jamero Spikes in motion, and he takes the handoff. And he is not going anywhere. Ty Merkel came up and made a big play there. Also helping out on the play was Isaiah Charlton. But Merkel showing some great speed.
Yeah, and you had Mason Bishop outside, sealing, turn him again. That's those little things that, you know, it's like hitting behind the runner so they can get that extra base, putting one to the right side. Even though you make the out, you know, you're getting your guy from 2nd to 3rd base easily there, and containing and not giving him that outside makes him turn inside, and that's where your pursuit is coming from.
3rd down and 10. Hannah to throw. Looks like they're setting up the little screen.
Yeah, they like
do.
Their screen,
they get it to Spikes. Thomas with the tackle.
Wow, I'll tell you,
gain.
That defense is pumped up. They are just, and they are showing some great speed out there because it's like all of a sudden you got 3, you don't have one guy pursuing you, have 2, 3 pursuing you, then you flip it out, there's 2, 3 other guys standing there. They're just showing great team pursuit out there.
The very mellow Dave Boers, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, mellow.
You know, you play like you're coached, you know, and wow, there's another boomer.
Merkel going to try to return one again.
He broke the first wave. He's to the 30 on his feet, spinning around to the 37-yard line, and I thought Lakeside may have taken that ball right out of his hands.
That's what they're pointing. I haven't seen a referee point that.
It sure looked like it.
There's lots of Lakeside players pointing that they did take it away from them.
I think they did, and I think Merkel just dove back or pulled it right back.
I saw they were trying to strip the ball. You could see them reaching in and trying to strip it, but
and Merkel's down.
No, they're not pointing it towards. I think they would have made the point.
It sure looked like it, though, didn't it? Honestly.
Yeah, it did. And boy, it sure full of a lot of Lakeside players because I saw 6 of them jumping up and down, pointing their direction. But
Chardon will get the ball back. They'll get Ty Merkel. Hopefully, this is. Let me get the glasses on him and see if this is just one of those cramps in the 3rd quarter that we see, or if Chardon cannot afford to have any more injuries. They've had a couple of big ones so far. Their starting center this season, John Sangrick, was hurt with an ACL. There's still a potential for him to come back, but it's going to be a while. So
yeah, you're talking like 10th week.
Yeah.
Probably, hopefully, 10th week he'll be back.
Well, they're hoping he can work with a brace and maybe do something with it later on, but you're exactly right. You just don't know. But he was your starting center. Then you put Scott Linville in. You had to make him now a 2-way player. And now Alex Coates is in for Jordan McGee, but this offensive line is continued on tonight. And then obviously with the runners that they've used.
And then you get the big tight end, and so you're outside containment because Petrov has that tight end position as well.
1st down and 10. The Toppers will take it at the 45, their 2nd possession of the half. They went 90 yards.
Yeah, Merkel looks okay out there, which is great. You never want to see any player hurt.
Ross in at quarterback. That's Charlton in motion. Ross going to keep it. Ross gets stood up. And a nice defensive effort there. Derek Holly, the senior defensive end, almost a 200-pounder, just got a call earlier. Obviously, when this thing airs on Saturday, this will be but the team that Chardon plays in 2 weeks, Geneva, is out at Perry tonight. And with a minute to go in the first half, Perry 35, Geneva nothing.
Yeah, Geneva's been having a rather rough season this year.
They've had a rough couple of seasons, and that's a team that I think Chardon has to look at on their schedule and say, it's not helping us.
No, and the thing
points-wise.
is, they're probably not going to get a lot of points. You can get the win off them, but that's first-tier points. But as far as second, ooh. As I'll tell you, Ross tries again going to the left side this time, and he gets stood up and took a little extra punishment when he was up there.
Looked like Brandon Hanna dishing it out there a little bit. So bring up 3rd down and 8. But next week, Chardon will host Collinwood here, and then they will head out to Geneva. That's their next 2 ball games. The Lakeside squad, again, going to be moving into the pack. They will play North at home, and then they will travel to Madison. 3rd down and 8. Charlton in motion. Ross to throw. Oh boy, being chased. Guns it, has a man. He's got Kurzinger, and he's got the first down into Dragon territory. How about that? Nicely done.
That was a very nice play. And the thing is, Kurzinger was waiting right about at the first down yardage marker where he needed to be, which is always nice. You hate to see some guy line up 2 yards behind the marker and he's got to turn and maybe fight for it, and oftentimes they don't get it, but Kurzinger got where he needed to, then fought for the additional couple of yards or so.
Thankfully he didn't have to come back and help his quarterback out. There's a handoff, and that is Mason Bishop, and Bishop will get to the 45-yard line, gain of 2, 2nd down 8 coming up.
It's a good job by Bishop that day. He looked a little bit, took a page out of the Charlton book, came in and running low and stuff. There really wasn't much of anything open for him on that time. He just lowered his shoulders, and where there was really nothing, got a couple of yards.
Second and 8.
Ross following his lead.
Yep, and he will just get back to the line of scrimmage. You know, the other thing, too, about this whole quarterback deal, when John Ross, playing a lot of defense, and now he's back in that role, but kept himself ready for the opportunity when it arose to come back in again, John. And it's very easy to say I was the incumbent last year, and this, now I'm only playing defense, I'm not playing offense, and but obviously he's the kind of an athlete that'll study up and stay ready to play just in case the opportunity arises. And I think that's a testimony to him.
But the thing is, he got some playing time at Highland. I don't think he took a couple snaps when Davis had with the equipment adjustment. He did well.
Ross, forget it. Down he goes. First tripped up by Crockett.
Yeah, that time.
And then McCaleb covered him.
Lakeside
no chance.
Defensive line just kind of took that one over, pushed the Chardon guys out of the way, and got penetration. And like you said, Ross had no chance at all on that one.
Looks like 4th and 18 coming up. Yeah, they were right behind him. They blew right through that line, and that'll bring Jake Young back on. 5:17 to go, 3rd quarter.
But this is the way that Chardon defense has been playing. This isn't a bad thing for them at all. Just punt that ball as far as you possibly can, and wow, is that up in the air?
That's a high one. Major League pop-up will get inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 18-yard line. So Lakeside will get the ball at the 18.
Nice kick by Young that time. That was a real nice one. He angled away so there'd be no return again, and got some good distance out of it, and definitely got that ball up in the air. It was about where the light poles are.
Yeah.
Well, where the lights on the light poles are.
So the third possession, or second possession now for Lakeside here in the second half. They started out, but their first possession was at the 44. They had 7 possessions in the first half. They punted 3 times. They were intercepted once. They got a touchdown. They went out on downs, and then the end of the half was the other possession. There is Spikes, and Spikes will have the first down as he gets to the 29-yard line. That'll bring up a 1st down and 10 on that gain of 11.
That was a nice run by him. Last couple runs, he's been hesitant. You see him go on there, and when it looks like it tightens up, he slows down a hair. That time, he kept the flow going, moved real nice, juked a little bit here, there, and got some good yardage out of it.
Ball just inside the 30-yard line.
1st down and 10. They go shotgun now. That's Carlisle. Oh, no, check that. That's a new running back in there for Lakeside as the fullback, John Hernandez. There's a fumble. Ball is loose, and the Toppers have it.
Chardon ball. Yeah, look like Chardon got on top of that one.
Looks like a fumble on the play.
Lee Thomas just knocked off the referee's hat by accident, jumping up and down.
He was happy, yeah.
Chardon football.
I couldn't tell who really came up with that. It might have been Madsen on that one. Not 100% sure, but he's the last one I saw get up and walk away. So until we find out different, we'll go with Madsen on that recovery, and we apologize if it wasn't him. Somebody else didn't get credit for it.
I'm still chuckling at
the knocking off of the hat.
Caught the bill of his hat and flipped it right over. John Ross back out at quarterback. Lee Thomas is the fullback.
That's
a busted play,
in there, yeah.
And Ross not going to get anything. Maybe a half a yard just to the stripe now at the 25. Clock is running. 4:25 to go here in the third quarter.
Boy, that's a big turnover for Chardon. But I'll tell you, pushing it down and getting at least a first down out of it. Maybe we'll get well, they got the first field goal attempt of this season.
Yeah, they've got the potential to also to eat up some more clock and get it to that fourth quarter as well, John. You know, 4 minutes to go.
I'll tell you, any clock you can eat helps your defense a lot. And the way they've been playing, I don't know how much help they're going to need, really.
Ross straight drop back, has his man. That's Charlton inside the 5, touchdown. Yep. That's a 25-yard touchdown pass from Ross to Isaiah Charlton.
He went a little bit behind him, but Charlton slowed down for it, reached down, picked it up around his knees, and had good acceleration coming out. Split 2 defenders to get into the end zone. Well, that's a big one. That's changes Lakeside's game plan totally. They're going to have to go more to the air, and unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to try to do it by going deeply into the air, because that Chardon defensive line is going to be all over the quarterback. You pretty much got to go with the quick hitters and let your skilled speed guys try to break one.
That one was a little bit low, and that pass is intercepted, and that will be a no good. So the PAT is no good. There's a
in the pros, he could have went for 2 on that one.
So with 3:50 to go here in the third quarter, it is Chardon 27 and Ashtabula Lakeside 6.
That was a good thinking, though, on Ross's part. It's kind of one of those, okay, it's dead. There's guys all over me. Just put it up for grabs. And, you know, if one of my guys that's eligible gets it, terrific. If not, well, we haven't lost nothing.
Just be glad that you don't get smushed at the process.
That's part of it. It's a self-preservation as well.
Hey, just remember, high school sports is just part of our programming lineup this fall. Sports coverage continues all fall long as we cover Berkshire, Cardinal, Chardon, and Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, as well as, of course, Chardon sports, including volleyball, soccer, and more football. So check out GTV regularly for replay dates and times. Also, John's favorites, the Candidates Nights and school fall programs are also on the horizon as well. All this in addition to the Community Bulletin Board, which serves you 24 hours a day on GTV channels 22 and 23. You got your nights all planned for those Candidates Nights?
Yes, I do.
Popcorn ready?
I sit there and my TV's automatically on channel 23. I watch a lot of the fair activities. So that great Chris Graw and some of his interviews, you know, inside the pig pens and stuff, you know, he's the animal specialist.
Marcotte with a driver. James Christian will pick it up, and he will get across the 25-30, stay on his feet across the 40 and all the way up to the 48-yard line. Nice return.
Well, that
James Christian.
That definitely helps out Lakeside. They need that kind of an adrenaline shot there to try to get something going, and positive kick return is something that could help them, because they got themselves in a hole right now, and they're going to have to come hard.
First down and 10. Lakeside will take the ball back over. Brandon Hanna, the quarterback. He will send Dave Kriz to the near side. He'll also send Deontay Newell that way. Now they'll go back to the straight I formation. And they pitch it back, and that's Spikes. Spikes into Chardon territory, spins into the hands of Kersinger, and goes down at the 46-yard line. So he will pick up about 6 on the play, bring up a 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, I saw it. Who was it? Coates. Was it Alex Coates was in there all over, and didn't really give the full option flare to Hanna that time, as he had to dump the ball off before he could flow very much to the outside. And again, that defensive line of Chardon is doing a heck of a job up front.
Carlisle is the fullback. They pitch it to Spikes, and he is upended at the 45-yard line. Looks like they'll give him a gain of 1.5 yards. That'll bring up a 3rd down and about 3.
Yeah, Teresi was out there, as well as Coates again from his defensive end position.
3rd and 3.
Again, substituting players in there, keeping guys fresh, and just getting good output from whoever they seem to put out there.
2:32 and counting, third quarter. Chardon with a 27-6 lead. Spikes again, spins through Kersinger and is finally knocked down by Peterson as he gets the first down to the 38-yard line. Nice gain there by Jamero Spikes, coming in averaging 6.2 yards a carry. He has 3 touchdowns on the season.
Well, you know, we still have 2:12 left here in this third quarter, which isn't panic time yet, but quite honestly, Lakeside has to make something happen here and get some points. They're getting a point because Chardon offense has a lot of confidence built up. If Lakeside doesn't return some of that firepower, they may put themselves out of the game.
Hanna to throw, looking deep, and that pass is caught. Nope, incomplete, out of bounds.
Out of bounds, yeah.
Derek Holly caught the football, but he was out of bounds. Double coverage. What a strong arm there by Hanna, huh?
Yeah,
he threw that about 40 yards.
And he was rolling, too. It's nice having those 6'3" receivers right downfield there, because Holly used his full height and got position, took great advantage of that one to be able to pull it down. But fortunately for Chardon, he was out of bounds when he did it.
Chris to the near side, Newell to the far side. Holly goes tight at right end, and they'll also bring Spikes out now to the near side. The lone setback then is Carlisle. Hanna gave it to him, broke a tackle, and goes down at the 40. Almost got pulled down from behind by Danny Dagg.
Yeah,
it was a weird handoff. It was kind of almost put it on his back.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those wrap-around ones that you see on a little trickery there.
3rd and 11 coming up.
Hopefully, the thought pattern being you hope everybody flows past the guy and you give it to him from the backside there, and he can just sneak out ahead of him with everybody behind him.
James Christian into the game now as a wide out. 3rd down 11, 1:10 to go. Third quarter. It looked like they're setting up another screen. Nope, he's going to fire it. Pass is caught. That is Holly, and Holly will get it inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, but that is about 6 or 7 yards shy of a first down. We'll call it 6, 4th down and 6.
Yeah, Thomas went out from his linebacker position. Was it him and Bishop were on coverage in that one? Pulled him down and held him, and it becomes a big play here for Lakeside. If they want to get back into it, I think they pretty well better get this first down.
4th down.
Single setback is John Hernandez now. 25 seconds to go. They run trip receivers out. We got flags everywhere. We got some movement.
Yeah, that's not what they needed. You know, they got 4th and fairly long as it is, and now it's going to be 4th and even longer with the procedure call against Lakeside. And one thing that's coming into play here, again, like I said, they have a new coach. Historically, come 4th quarter, that was Chardon time, because Lakeside was a little gassed at that point. And unfortunately, new coach may have a good conditioning program, but he really hasn't had time to. You got to condition in the off season to be ready for the season, and I don't think he really got his system in place in time to do that. So I would suspect that this is Chardon's time right now, and that makes it even more dangerous for Lakeside to get back into this.
4th down and 10, 27-6. The Hilltoppers lead it. They've gotten a touchdown run by Chad Davis. They also have 2 touchdown runs from John Ross, one of 3 yards and one of 72 yards, and also a John Ross to Isaiah Charlton 25-yard touchdown pass. And that accounts for their 27 points. So 4th down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, it's been a good scoring night for the quarterbacks tonight. And it's nice having the 2 quarterbacks to be able to go to, too. That's definitely an advantage that you really didn't expect out of a Chardon. Because the last several years, they've been a 1 quarterback team, you know, and when they got to go because of an injury or whatever, it normally turns out bad for them.
Handed a throw on a 4th and 10. It's a slant pattern to Spikes, but the ball was behind him, and that gave the defense time to react, and Jake Young
did
made
an
the play.
It kind of hooked him around the waist, and spun him around and was able to at least get a portion of the tackle there.
That just shows you how fast Spikes is when you're the quarterback. It's a 1 or 2 step drop and you're thrown to a spot, and he's past the spot already.
Yeah,
because he threw it right behind him, and that just gave the defense all kinds of opportunities now.
Well,
Chardon will get it back.
And down.
17 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Ross is back in at QB. Charlton in motion, and they hand the ball off. That was Mason Bishop, and he will pick up, looks like 2 yards. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 8, but we have come to the end of 3 quarters. We are at Memorial Field here at Chardon High School. The Hilltoppers lead it by a score of 27-6. We'll have the 4th and final quarter coming your way next on GTV. Well, we begin quarter number 4. It's a 2nd down and 7 for the Hilltoppers. They've got the football back. They lead it 27-6. Greg Dees along with John Walsh. And John Ross to throw. Pass caught. That is Charlton up to the 50-yard line, and that's a 1st down.
And that's another little nail, with Chardon starting to pound the nails in on Lakeside here.
Nice 18-yard gain there, huh?
Anytime you can move those chains, that's just going to be another couple minutes off that clock. And that works definitely against Lakeside's advantage.
1st down and 10. Mason Bishop is to the right of Ross, and Ross goes right behind him. And Ross gets hit from the side by Michael Cannell. And that will be a gain of 3.
Sounds
2nd
good.
down 7.
Yeah, maybe a short 7 or so. It was a long 3 gain, but nonetheless, we'll make it 2nd and 7. That's what they just got to keep doing. 3 yards is just terrific at this point in the game. They don't need nothing fancy in the long breakaways. They need to eat up close. That's not a helper.
And a flag to boot as Ross gets sandwiched there.
That flag was way away from the play, so.
Cannell on the tackle, holding against Chardon. We haven't seen a whole lot of flags today.
No, and
we
it's
saw the
definitely
one on the
not,
big kickoff return.
Definitely not like last week. Last week it was just ridiculous, but they've cleaned up their act quite a bit. And, Lakeside is playing a good, clean, straight-ahead football game, too.
Chardon, over the first 2 games, penalties averaged out to 70 yards per ball game.
I'll tell you what I've seen of this Lakeside squad. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish the season with 7+ wins.
That would be great for Chardon.
Yeah, it definitely would. So this is a big computer point game.
Danny Dagg to the far side. Joey Case to the near side.
I'm impressed with Lakeside. I think they're a much improved squad over what I've seen in the past year.
Ross fires man wide open in the middle of the field. That's Peterson. He's to the 40. He's to the 30. He's to the 25. Breaking a tackle. 20. Down almost to the 15-yard line. Wow. He was wide open.
He was.
That's a typical catch and run right there, huh? Wow.
They had a Chardon guy down deeper, and all the safeties in the corner flowed out to him. Peterson curled around into that open little zone there, and he was just standing there all by himself. I'm not sure exactly where the linebackers dropped off to unless they came in thick and run, which the way they've been running Ross or something, I understand why they would think that.
1st down and 10 at the 17. Ross pitches it back. That is Peterson. He gets to the corner. He dropped the ball. It's loose, and Lakeside has it. Lakeside picked up the football, and it looked like John Hernandez came up with the football.
Yeah, he had a nice block by Myers right on the corner there to get him around. And, you know, that at certain points in the game, you never like to see fumbles. You might think that's disastrous, but Chardon ate up some good time on that one, and they got Lakeside pinned deep where they got to go a long way downfield, roughly 90 yards to be able to score.
6th fumble of the season for Chardon, and only the 2nd one that they've lost. 1st down and 10 from the 10. So Brandon Hanna 90 yards ahead of them to try to get themselves back in the game. He will launch it, going deep. Dagg the closest for Chardon, and that was overthrown. Pass was intended
I was
for Jamero Spikes, second down 10.
I was look downfield there when that thing was thrown, and my first thought was, how did Dag get that much open? Because it did look like he was the prime receiver, and he was 10 yards behind the receiver.
Second down, 10. Clock has stopped moving at 10:16 on that incomplete pass.
But that kind of shows Lakeside's getting a little desperate now. They know they need to hit the plays, and they got to hit them real quick because clock is definitely not their buddy.
Option. Hannah keeps it.
Not
And
much there.
Just a couple of yards to maybe the 11, so a gain of a yard or so. Well, won't see you for another couple of weeks there, but see you back at the end of the month when Eastlake North comes to town. That ought to be a good ball game.
Yeah,
They're
we'll
off
be
to a
right
great
here
start,
again.
2-0 to start the season. Big win over Brush.
I think they got Mayfield tonight, so by the time you watch this, you know how they did.
And
but,
Mayfield just got done knocking off Willoughby South last week.
3rd and 7.
They beat them fairly solidly, as a matter of fact. So that'll be a good indicator of what the league's all about, if nothing else, because back-to-back North and South have common opponents.
That's intercepted. And that is Jake Young.
Oh, flag thrown afterwards, though. There has to be a personal foul or something, because there was a flag thrown in after the play was all over. But Young comes up with the interception. Possession will stay in Chardon's hands, but probably it's going to come back a little bit.
Block below the knees in the back like a clip against Lakeside.
Really?
Yep.
Why would they be throwing something like that? And it seemed like it was dead ball after the play as well. That was an odd penalty. I don't know why that would have been.
Looks like Chardon will have it at, what's that look like from here?
About the
3-yard line?
Yeah, 4 is probably looking at the side marker there. It's closer to the 5 than it is the middle.
Couple of turnovers gives Chardon the ball back. Now Ross being chased, and down he goes. Oh, man. Great pursuit from behind.
Ross is caught in the backfield by number 9.
I'm kind of surprised at that one. I really thought they would just run it straight ahead. You know, I mean, just kind of, okay, we're going to try to shove it down your throat, show you power football. But they were rolling out, and it looked like Ross was looking to put the ball in the air to get more points.
That'll take it all the way back to the 12-yard line, so second down and goal. Ross keeps it again. Ross is going to go down again. Man, he got wrapped up. John Hernandez came in.
Boy, they're moving the wrong way here, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
All the way back to the 16-yard line. It'll be a third down and goal. And
seems like they lost sight on the quarter change and what direction they're moving here.
Kevin McCaleb also helped out on the tackle.
Right on the 15-yard line. Third and goal.
We'll go through some of the teams that Chardon's going to play here coming up. We'll give you some of
Collinwood next week.
Don't know much about Collinwood next week, but I've got some good stuff on North and South and Madison. We can tell you just to kind of give you a pack preview because we won't see it till after the pack starts. Ross to throw. Pass caught by Charlton. Flag flies, probably a hold.
Yeah, I think it might have been pass interference. I think Hannum might have hit him just a hair before the ball got there.
Holding against Chardon is the call.
Well, I guess you were right and I was wrong, wasn't it? Sure, throw it in my face.
That's a first.
I believe it is.
13 years, that's a first?
I believe so. First I admit to. How's that?
All right, I'll give you that. That will be declined. That'll bring up a fourth down. So we'll see. Maybe Sam Marcotte will get a chance here for his first field goal attempt of the season, and why not? What better time to try it, John, in a ball game now where you've got a decent lead?
And sure, and he's a good, accurate kicker. And you definitely want to have experience. And even though these 3 points really don't mean a whole bunch, somewhere down the line, the experience means a lot.
I'd like to give out a special thanks to the GTV funding communities of Burton Township, Burton Village, Chardon Township, Chardon Village, and Hamden Township, also Middlefield Village and Munson Township. We hope to continue to receive support from these communities. From time to time, we'd like to encourage you to contact your officials in Burton Township, Burton Village, and Middlefield Village, and that time is right now. You got to let them know that you'd like to keep the GTV service and that you enjoy watching this programming each and every day. Thanks for your support of GTV, and thanks to our viewers for their support. If you like the programming and live in an area presently not funded by GTV, please let your local officials know of your interest. We'd love to do some programs for you, and that certainly would be the way to go. Marcotte into attempt to point after. Looks
26-yarder.
And that kick is good.
Oh, I thought it was wide right, but our angle's terrible.
It'd be like a 27-yarder. We'll call it 27. How's that?
Call it 27. Round it up to 27.
7:58 to go in the ball game. Sam Marcotte, 27-yard field goal.
So that increases Chardon lead to 24 points as it goes to 30-6 now.
I think that was a great time to get him his first field goal. I mean, not just a straight extra point try there, a little bit working the angle, a little bit deeper back, and things like that can help you as well as the season goes on. And he will get ready to tee it up. We talked about Eastlake North. North beat Brush. Big, I mean, really an upset. Everybody had Brush so highly touted. Beat them 27-23. They scored 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win that ball game. And then they came back last week at Mid-Park and beat Mid-Park by a score of 21-14. So North, a team that traditionally, though, seems to always start out on fire. They'll go 5-0 and then they'll end up 5-5 or 6-4.
Yeah, they hit the pack, which is always the opening with Chardon, and they just run into trouble and have almost a psychological barrier. If they ever got by Chardon, I think they'd roll from that point. But
Marcotte puts another one into the end zone, so that's the way North has started the season. When you look at Madison, they beat John Marshall 51-13 in their first ball game, and then they went to 2-0 as they beat Geneva 41-6. But as we just told you earlier, Geneva was getting beat by Perry 35-0.
And I don't think Marshall's much. They'll be tested tonight as they play Lake Catholic.
Yep.
Who I believe is 0-2, maybe 1-1.
Yeah, they beat Benedictine the other day.
But they're a quality 1-1.
Oh yeah. Because the game they lost to was to Euclid.
Right, who's put it together this year, it seems.
Yep, Cody Carroll made that last play, 2nd down and 10. And finally, you look at the Willoughby South is 1-1. They beat Geneva 35-7. And they also lost to Mayfield 35-16.
And like I said, that's going to be a gauge on how North does tonight. You'll have a little handle on how they match up, at least against similar teams.
That is Carlisle over the right side. New quarterback in for Lakeside. James Christian is, no, I'm sorry. I thought I saw Christian in there. That is Hannah still in there.
And do you realize we'll have to see this year? I guess North has brand new type of style of helmets. So they're going to look totally different.
They've got the black helmets this year.
Yes,
they've always had orange.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a different look. It kind of freezes you for a second.
Yeah.
I thought we were playing North.
Now, they do have a new quarterback in there.
Yeah, they do.
That is James Christian. And he goes nowhere fast on that 3rd down and 6. And that'll bring up a 4th down and 6.
Well, we don't know if that's a function of try the new guy, see what he can do, if Hannah got hurt, or if it's just a case of, okay, Chardon, you got us. We give up, and we're just going to get our backup quarterback some experience, not get our starter hurt. Because actually, Hannah did take some shots tonight as that up-front group of Chardon did just a tremendous job controlling that line of scrimmage.
Dagan Merkel back deep. Jordan Newsom, who's been very impressive kicking the football, drills another one. Man, Merkel going to let it bounce. And he is going to pick it up, drop it at the 21, now to the 25, and bumped out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Jamero spikes.
It's a little bit dangerous. You know, you reach a certain point where it's best just to back away from that ball.
So there you have it. That's the kind of a look at the pack coming up. That I know I missed Riverside.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
That was rather rude, I think.
Yeah, well, I can be rude. Riverside lost to Perry in overtime the first week, 28-21, and then they were defeated by Hudson last week, 12-2. They got a safety in the 4th quarter.
And don't they have like a Mooney or somebody this week, don't they, I believe? So they don't have a keep walk by you. There's a quick
reverse.
Double.
That's Peterson, and Peterson across the 40. to the 43. Now that's old style wing tee that I'm used to.
Except that might be a function of the timing not quite right with Ross in there, because that looked a little bit out of sync on that particular one.
But in the last 2 games that we've seen, though, we haven't seen them run that.
No.
So I think that could be
I like seeing going back to the old tried and true plays that worked.
So I agree with you that it could be a function of that, but also a function of the fact that you really just haven't run it at all, no matter who is in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a first down and 10. 5:47 to go in the ball game. We're really glad you could join us tonight on GTV. It is a glorious night here in Chardon. Still shirt sleeve weather for a lot of folks. Some folks have thrown on, some light jackets.
Yeah, they're comfortable. Either way, it's comfortable out here tonight.
The 1956 Chardon Hilltopper football team, 50 years ago.
I think they should have went through one alignment, get on the line and kind of just
showed us the old alignment, what they were used to. Up the middle, that goes Mason Bishop, still on his feet. 30, gets a block to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown! Mason Bishop, 56 yards.
Boy, he kept his feet right. And to be quite honest, I don't know how number 5 missed him. He came up behind and kind of just slid on him. I mean, you could pump the legs and get going, but when somebody's hitting you from behind, your perspective is all off, and that's fairly easy tackle. I don't know how he shucked that guy off him.
Charlton made a great block down the field. Got a helmet in front of the defender, so there was no block in the back, and Marcotte will be in to attempt another PAT.
I wonder what we got. We got like 4 or 5 school buses pulling in now.
Probably the Lakeside Band buses. There's a extra point, doinks off the upright, and that's the first miss of the season for Marcotte. They had a fumbled snap earlier. Well, so I don't think you can charge that to Marcotte because you never got a chance to kick it. But there you did.
If you're going to, I've always been a proponent of, you hate the long, perfect strings. It's almost like in a non-consequential end that string, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's like a defense that goes 3 games pitching shutouts. Then the pressure's on to keep that going. They can almost fall apart when they do allow a score.
So 36-6 is the score, 5:27 to go. As long as we're talking about GTV teams, Berkshire going into tonight's action 2-0. They beat Pomatuning Valley in week 1, 47-7. That was a ball game at halftime too. It was 14-7, and Berkshire scored 33 unanswered points in the second half and won that ball game.
As a coach, you like to see that.
And then they came back and beat Edgewood by a score of 34-28. That was in overtime last week.
That's something they really had to have, because they really play a lot of Division 5 and 6s, and that's a Division 3 that they really needed the points for.
Marcotte's kick is a low squibber that's knocked down by Newell. He'll pick it back up and get to the 20. Bounces off some of his own men, stays on his feet, still on his feet, and finally goes down at the 21-yard line. That's where Lakeside will take over. Cardinal started out with a 10-3 win over Garrettsville, and then they came back and they beat Pomatuning Valley by a score of 29-14. I always kind of like to look at like opponents when you look at, especially near the end of the season. Who did you both play and how did you do?
Yeah.
And here's a case here where Berkshire and Cardinal both beat Pomatuning Valley. Berkshire a little bit more commanding, but I don't take a whole lot of credence in week 1 scores, because a lot of teams, it takes them a week just to get themselves going.
And sometimes it's kind of like you might have a key player out for one team that changes the whole makeup of what they are, or who knows what. It's just a different timing thing as well. So sometimes you can't go directly by scores.
Chardon has a man down, and now they have a man back up. Jake Young, who's had a great game today as well. Call his name out a lot on defense today,
He's been playing great defensively, and his punts have really helped a whole bunch. He's kept them in the game on special teams as well.
All right, it'll be a first down and 10. The ball is spotted at the 21 of the Dragons.
Ball is on the 21-yard line.
We got 5:16 left here in this game.
And they go back with Hanna at the quarterback. Spikes the deep back, Carlisle the up back. Now they'll move Spikes out onto the wing. Or in a slot, I should say. And they hand it to Carlisle. The big guy Across the 30, 35, and across the 40 to the 43, A.J. Teresi.
He's got a little
on the
speed,
tackle,
too.
yeah.
You know, he's not just a bull. He's got some speed coming to the outside.
All three of these guys in the backfield will be graduating this year, Hannah, Spikes, and Carlisle.
Well, quite honestly, that's good for all Pac teams because they won't have to see them next year. And those are quality backs back there.
First and 10.
First down and 10, under 5 minutes to go now in the ball game. 36-6, the Toppers by 30. There is a pitch to Spikes. He's to the 45 and down to the 49-yard line of Chardon.
Teresi on the tackle.
Pick up 8 on the play. Second down and 2 coming up. AJ's name being called quite a bit tonight as well.
Actually, there's a lot of those defensive players that have been in on a lot of plays. The defense has played very, very well this evening.
4.5 to go. They run Kriz and Newell to the far side. They've got Holly tight at right end. Handoff, that is Carlisle. He's got the first down and more as he's up to the 39-yard line of
Again up the middle.
Peterson had the first hit on him and finally brought him down.
Also making the play there for Chardon was Nate Mullett. First down at the 39-yard line.
Ball is on the 39-yard
Getting some more bodies in there. Nick DeFranco is into the ball game now for Chardon. Looks as though Tom Hummel is into the game as well. Some
That's
defensive
good.
linemen. Yep.
One, it
Also,
gives people experience.
James
Two,
Liggett is in.
it keeps your starters from getting an injury when the game's well in hand.
Nice defensive effort there by Dag as he goes up against Kriz.
Yeah, a little height difference on that one.
Kriz is 6'3". Dag, they've got him listed at 5'7", so a lot of a height difference, but he did a good job. He found where the ball was and went after the ball.
And got position on him, got
Yep.
inside of him there, and was able to keep him from getting his body into the ball.
Second down and 10. Clock is stopped. 3:53 to go.
That is
here
a
in the
big
ball game.
center. Wow.
Yeah, 6'4", 320. There's Carlisle, breaks a tackle, and he will finally go down in the arms of Nick DeFranco. Also, Steve Dove.
Yeah, but not
in
after
on the play.
he wore DeFranco as a jacket for a couple yards there.
Gain
He's
of-
a bull.
Gain
Wow.
of 5, second down 5. And you know what? This stage of the ball game, down by 30, he's not going down any easier than he was when it was an even
No.
Steven ball game.
As well he shouldn't either. I mean, you play hard for the full 48 minutes.
They pitch it back to Spikes. He'll try to get the corner. Teresi is there and takes him down right at the line of scrimmage. Great pursuit there by A.J. Teresi.
And the rest of the team, because Teresi had the initial hit, but there was another 5-6 Hilltoppers that got a piece of him as well.
No gain, fourth down and 5 where they spot it. Under 3 minutes to go here in the ball game. Well, the Hilltoppers will be home against Collinwood next week, so make sure you're back at Memorial Stadium on Friday night. And then they'll travel out to Geneva. Fourth down and 5, they swing it out, that Spikes. He cuts it back, and he will not get the first down.
No,
Out of bounds at the 32-yard line, and turnover on downs for the Chardon Hilltoppers. They'll get the football back.
Yeah, they strung that one out rather than. They're doing a real good job of nullifying the speed that Lakeside has. They haven't allowed them to stretch stuff out and get to the outside and use that speed in places they really could.
Chad Davis back in at quarterback. Greg Troff is now in. I see him checking into the ball game, as well as Jeff Buhner. Trying to run through some other guys. 68. Oh, isn't that Kyle Walsh? No, that's Nate Mullett.
Yeah, that was what, 4 years ago.
Good old number 68 back in the ball game. Chad Davis looking over, and I think they may not have enough guys on. Let's see if we can pluck out some of the more numbers here. Tom Hummel is out there. I also see John Russ out there as well. Alex Coates is out there. Well, he's been out there, but he is first and second team now that.
Chad Davis is getting some defensive experience.
Yep. No, this is offense. They got the ball back.
Oh. Okay. I'm not paying real close attention here, am I?
Now, are you in game shape? Can you get us through fourth quarters? Have you done what it takes to get 4 quarters under your belt here?
No, I hit the fourth and my eyes start getting heavy.
Man, I'm going to have to get you on a better program for.
But I'll tell you, I do want to be one of the first to wish Dave Jevnikar a happy birthday for Dave Jevnikar's birthday week.
Is it 60?
I think he's stuck on 60 for the last few years, to be honest with you.
There's a handoff for not much doing up the middle. And on the carry was Jeff Buhner. No, Super Dave can't be 60. He looks it, but I don't think he can.
Yeah, sometimes he acts it as well.
Second down and 8 coming up. Well, folks, I'm glad I could join you for my last game ever here on GTV.
Well, I'm doing all the time.
Tyler Szabo into the ball game now as well, number 50. Yeah, we got movement on the right side. 2:03 to go. That's a legal procedure call against the Hilltoppers. That'll make it second down.
Almost brought us down to the 2-minute warning if high school had them. Wonder why they don't. I think that's a good rule that should be on the high school level as well.
Well, you don't need to sell commercial time.
Want to reach a happy 18th birthday to Ryan Gertz, number 73, as it flashes up on the scoreboard.
They don't need a TV timeout.
I don't think Dave's 18, though. I don't think so. Him and Ryan don't share the exact same birthday.
Second and 13. Little end around. That is Devin Jasbeck, and Jasbeck will get the penalty, some of the penalty yardage back, about 4 of it. That'll bring up a third down and 9. 1:32 to go. Well, a good win tonight for the Hilltoppers, John. I think they gave up that initial touchdown early in the ball game after they, on their own 31-yard line. But since then,
they've controlled it totally.
They really have.
They absolutely took over this game, and I'll tell you, it's not a function of Lakeside playing bad. Lakeside, I think, is a good quality team. Chardon just played an outstanding game after their first couple of possessions there, offensively and defensively. I don't think they were sharp. Once they got into it, though, they totally control this ball game.
That is Davis, and he loses the ball. Going back the other way with it for the Lakeside Dragons is Deontay Newell, and that's a touchdown.
Yeah, that was an ill-advised pitch. He tried to pitch it out, run the option there, and there really was no room on the sideline or anything. That was an ill-advised one, but
I wanted to give a little plug there because we saw another couple guys, and Tom Jackson had come into the game. Wanted to mention him, and also Dan Plickert came into the game as well. Well, that makes it 36-12.
With 48 seconds left. And as a reminder, there are no pets allowed in the stadium. Again, I'm reading that off the scoreboard. That's very important consideration.
48 seconds to go. Looks like they're going to go for 2, but Lakeside's going to take a timeout with 48 ticks of the clock left. So we've got a chance now, John. We're going to make a quick exit after the ball game. But again, I think we've seen it from Chardon teams in the past, big play capabilities, and tonight they did that. They didn't score all the time on big plays. They've had a couple.
Like the Thomas long run and stuff, their first score, that led to their first score.
Exactly. And then you also had John Ross, a 72-yarder. Then, they don't go to the air very much, but a 25-yard pass from Ross to Charlton. A lot of that was done on Charlton's own, but he was able to he was wide open on the play.
That's the whole thing. Chardon passes the best when they don't have to pass. So it's kind of one of those, I guess the whole trick is get a lead. And you don't have to worry about the pressure of having to pass.
But all in all, a good bounce back from a disappointing loss last week to a good Kenston team. I mean, you can't diminish the fact.
Good showing both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
They go for 2. Hannah throws wide open in the end zone. That's a 2-point conversion to Derek Holly. And that makes it a 36-14 game. So 48 seconds to go. The Hilltoppers will get the ball back when it looked like they were going to be able to run out the clock. But you get different personnel out there that aren't maybe used to being out there all together at the same time.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, that unit that was out there playing on offense has probably never been together as a unit, period.
So they will get ready to receive the kick, which could be an onside kick.
It might be. If there's
not a
still a
bad
little
night.
bit of fight, I mean, give it if nothing else, it gives you the opportunity to practice.
Yep.
You know, and it's always beneficial to practice stuff like that, because if you ever need it, it's nice to know exactly, be a little more comfortable with it.
And that's exactly what Chardon's anticipating, because they've got the good hands guys out there. Lee Thomas goes out there.
Yeah,
He will be flanked with Joey Case, also Mason Bishop out there. Also on that team, Jeff Myers.
Yeah, how come there's no
Isaiah
60s
Charlton.
or 70s numbers
Yeah, I
on
don't
the
know.
field?
Dan Plickert out there, A.J. Teresi, trying to run them all down for you here. Kid's a little plug, Jeff Buhner. And then the usual cast of suspects back, Merkel, Dagg, and Peterson.
Wow, I don't know if that's a good idea, bringing all your guys up that close. I keep one guy deep.
Newsom tees it up for Lakeside.
Here's Newsom to attempt what appears to be a onside kick, and he gets a good end-over-ender, covered nicely by the Hilltoppers. I think that was Isaiah Charlton that laid on it on the far side.
I can't really see.
Number 24.
Nope.
Myers.
No,
That was Jeff
Charlton
Myers.
was down that way.
Yep, Jeff Myers covered that. Good job there, Jeff. That's all you got to do. That's your job, right?
48 seconds.
That's it. Catch the ball and curl around it. Chardon takes it on the 49 of Lakeside.
First down and 10.
So we'll start the clock up. We're still at 48 seconds, and it'll start on the
Chris
snap.
Petrus is into the game as well, number 86. They hand the ball off. Nope, actually they keep it. That is Davis keeping it. He will lose a couple yards to bring up a second down and 12. Down to 38 seconds to go.
Have to take another snap, and that should about do it then.
Another great night of football here at Memorial Stadium.
Thankfully, Lakeside isn't wasting timeouts, you know,
Right.
just to extend it. We do appreciate that.
Tom Jackson looks like he may come back into the ball game. So we're down to 12 seconds. They blew the down clock with 27 seconds on the clock, and I think they're going to
should
get a
be
delay
delayed
game
game.
here down to about 2 seconds. Yep, there you
Yeah.
go, 2 seconds. They will ask them probably not to put any time back on the clock, but because it should have been stopped about 2 seconds. 5-yard loss.
I don't know why they didn't just snap it. Just one more time, take the knee,
They
and
got to snap it anyway, right?
yeah.
All right, here we go.
I don't expect a whole bunch of excitement in this play, do you?
Never know. Nope, that's the ball game. Chardon has defeated Ashtabula Lakeside by a score of 36-14. Good effort today by Jim DePofi, Chardon Hilltoppers. An excellent job done by them today on both sides of the football, offensively and defensively. Well, that's going to do it from Memorial Stadium. Our thanks, as always, to our executive producer, Dave Jevnikar. Happy soon-to-be birthday. For Chris Graw, Jeff Graw, and my partner, John Walsh, I'm Craig Dees saying so long from Memorial Field in Chardon. The final again, it's the Hilltoppers 36, the Dragons 14. You're watching high school football action on GTV.